بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا. Before we do our class today, inshallah, I want to make two quick points. First point is something that was said during the khutbah that was incorrect. So we have to rectify that here and now. Let it be the very first thing. Sometimes when you're talking, like I was asking the people throughout the khutbah, when I was giving examples of things from the Sunnah that are not in the Quran, and there are many things, and I would say, where is the hadith that says that? And it was the hadith. I meant to say, where is the ayat that said that? That was a mistake. I think most people will listen to the context and they know that was just an error. They will know that. But in the mistake that was made, it's possible people they misunderstood. And we don't want to represent the religion in the wrong way. And as I said a million times, anybody in this masjid, if you ever know something that was said was wrong, the door is always open to come and to advise. And I don't say that in trying to have false humility. This is the deen of Allah Ta'ala. لا تقف ما ليس لك به علم إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. Don't put your foot in the arena and don't go after that. Talk about that you don't have any knowledge about. You're going to be held accountable for everything you say. You're going to be held accountable for what you see. You're going to be held accountable for what you think. So we don't want to misrepresent the deen. So it was said at about 35 minutes of the khutbah, 35 minutes, that we have the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, which is known as Yawm al-Nahr, the day of slaughtering. It's the day after Arafat. So today is Arafat. The pilgrims tomorrow morning, inshallah, they're going to pray Fajr, and then they're going to make their way to Arafat. Some scholars of Islam said Arafat is the biggest and best day out of the year. And they have dalil for that. But it is the weak opinion, Allah knows best. So they stay all day for the 9th. And then the next day, tonight, over there. At Maghrib time, they go to Muzdalifah. They'll sleep in Muzdalifah. And then the next day, on the Eid day, Sunday, they wake up from Muzdalifah and they're going to do a lot of stuff. So that day is called Yawm al-Nahr because they're going to slaughter and we're going to slaughter for the Eid. But they're going to do most of the manasik of al-Hajj. That day is also called al-Hajj al-Akbar because you're doing a lot of things. So that's the 10th. And then you have the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. Those 3 days, the 11th, 12th, 13th, are called the days of Tashriq. Some scholars said it Tashriq because they get the meat that they slaughter and they cut it into strips back then and they hang it out and the meat would dry, like halal bacon strips. They also said because the thing happens after the ishraq of the sun. The important thing is, those 3 days, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, the Prophet said about them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ayam al-tashriq, ayam aklin wa shurban. These are the days of eating and drinking. And those 3 days, you don't fast. And those 3 days, you can slaughter. So you don't have to slaughter on the 10th. On the 10th, the day of al-Nahr. The Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a'adam al-ayam indallahi yawm al-Nahr wa yawm al-Qarr. The greatest day to Allah in the dunya is that day of the 10th, the day of slaughtering, and the next day, the 11th, the day of Al-Qarr. Because the people, yastaqirun, they stay in Mina for the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I said 3 days, and you will understand the 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's wrong. I hope that's clear. Second thing, very important, I was spoken to today by one of our brothers And he mentioned, that one taslima that you did today, some people were kind of confused about it, and they were looking around and they were wondering and they were, amazed. So maybe you should explain that. First thing I want to say at the top of the list is we have to be careful of being people who are fitness for the people by introducing things to the people that they're not ready for. So we want to be people who spread the sunnah. We want to be people like that. But we can't be the people who say, we're going to spread the sunnah by hook or crook. If the people are not used to something, don't do it. Don't do it. Especially if you know it's a type of knowledge that the vast majority of the people don't know. They have no idea about it. So we don't want to be a fitan to the people. A fitanun enti ya Mu'adh. A fitanun enti ya Mu'adh. A fitanun enti ya Mu'adh. Mu'adh, are you a fitna for the people? He says, some of you run the people away. So this is one of the worst things we can do in the da'wah. So I could have done that a long time ago. I've been here since March. I could have done that a long time ago on Friday. But I never did that on Friday. Why I didn't do it on Friday? Because the people are not ready for that. But because today the khutbah was about the sunnah, the sunnah, the sunnah, and we kept mentioning that, and the topic itself, I thought my husn al-dhan of the people is that they would understand, although this may be something many of them or some of them didn't know, because of the topic, the sunnah, accept it, don't push it, the sunnah, that they would have said, all right, this is something new, but maybe he did it because it's the sunnah. Not one person came to me to ask me about it. Not one. So instead of the people who had any ishgal, any issue, coming to say, hey, what was that about? The people leave. So maybe it's my fault, maybe it's not my fault. But making my ijtihad and making my call, at some point, the people of the sunnah have to spread the sunnah. Not at the cost of running people out, not at that cost. But wallahi, I had husn al-dhan with the community that the people would at least come to say, what was that about? What was that about? I would have simply explained to the people, there's ikhtilaf in the issue, but this thing is established. It is established that the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to do different things in the prayer. And he would do the prayer in different ways so that you won't get bored of doing the same thing all the time. So if a person ate chicken and rice every single day, chicken and rice, chicken and rice, chicken and rice, and pita bread, chicken and rice, chicken and rice, chicken and rice, pita bread, I don't care how good that chicken and rice tastes, at some point he's going to say, I'm tired of chicken and rice. I don't want that anymore. So if you pray all the time the same way, you become robotic. So he changed up a lot of things in the prayers. And one of the things he changed up was the taslim. I don't get it about our community. I don't get it. I don't want to blame anybody. I'll take responsibility, but it goes to show. We have to know this. We have to know this, understand this. Our ummah is in a condition that when you are giving them dawah, we have to take it easy with our ummah. Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, Kayfa bikum idha labisatkum fitna. How is the time going to be with you people when the fitna comes? The old person, the knowledgeable ones, the ones who are competent, they will be the ones who are crawling, not respected. And the young ones, they will be the ones who will be walking. People will look at them. If something is left from innovation, the people will say, Turikat as-Sunnah, the Sunnah has been abandoned. That's the time we're living in. The Sunnah hasn't been abandoned. So after the prayer, when the people make dua, if someone leaves the prayer and he doesn't make dua, the people say, hey, what is he doing? The Sunnah has been abandoned. Or at the janazah or whatever. So very quickly, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, most of the time, he would say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And he would extend his face all the way like that to the point where the people on that side could see the whiteness of his cheek. And then he would do it the same way. The people on the right side could see the left of the whiteness of his cheek. That's the first way. And sometimes we will go, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And sometimes he would say, Assalamu alaikum, tilqa wajhihi. He would say it without moving his head. Assalamu alaikum, and then move his head a little and not go all the way over there. That is an authentic hadith. It's authentic. He didn't do that a lot, so we shouldn't do that a lot. We do it sometimes. And we only do it around the people when they're ready for that. But our community, the question is, when will we ever be ready for things? We'll never be ready for things. That's how our community is. And that's why I say to you brothers, you young brothers, I'm telling everybody in this masjid, we have to be people who are cooperating with each other. Don't leave everything to me. And in approaching spreading the dawah, we have to be easy and gentle with our community. Take it easy with our community, not rough and tough. Where they start looking at us and the news spreads, these people are weird because it's just a smoke and mirror. These people are weird because they're the ghurabat, as the Prophet described. But we can't be like full of ourselves. We want to be the ghurabat. So therefore we're going to do things that are strange. And this is why the qira'at of al-Islam, the qira'at, the way the Imam was reading some of the ayat, it's not going to make a big difference for the people in this masjid. But if you read some qira'at, it's going to be a problem. Now also part of my husn al-dhan is we have a lot of Moroccans in our community. We have a lot of Maghariba, a lot. And the Maghariba are the only madhab of people who follow and practice that sunnah of the one taslim. Hanbalis don't do it. Shafis don't do it. Hanafis don't do it. So I'm thinking because we have so many Maghariba, this is another thing that made me feel comfortable with the husn al-dhan and the topic. Abu Asma, Abu Anas. This stuff is in the Maghribi madhab. That you make taslim one time. And they do it throughout West Africa, East Africa. The other thing about the taslim, and this is really, subhanAllah, and I have to move on, but I want to make this point. Some of the people will make inkar because they don't know what the thing is. I understand that. And that's why I say here, we have to be careful. I'm going to take responsibility for that to a certain degree. Because Allah knows I wasn't trying to be mustaghrib, I wasn't trying to be strange and different. No, I've never done that until today's topic, the topic in the air. And I was thinking at least the people, somebody will come. Now, people are making caught about this thing being from the Sunnah, but when a lot of the people, a lot of us, when we do the taslim and say, instead of saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum, the people go, like his head's gonna roll off. I'm not laughing, man. I'm not laughing. You may do it without even realizing. They put their head down and they do like this and put their head down. And people don't even realize that they're doing it. So we're living in a time where people they command with the munkar and they prohibit the ma'ruf. But in giving da'wah, I want to repeat this 1,000,000 times. I'm going to take responsibility for that. So I learned today, we're not ready. We're not ready. So I really have to be extra cautious and extra sensitive. Like at the day of the Eid, I would never do something like that. I would do it in home with our own people. These are our people. And I would have thought that someone would have come and said, what was that? What are you doing? At least if they thought it was wrong, have that ghayra for the deen, mujahidun. Hey, you just talked about the sunnah. You doing an innovation. What is that? But we don't have that. So may Allah help both sides of our community. The imam as well as the community members. But I think I'm more responsible than they are. That's my job. And one of the things I don't want to do, I want to apologize about the truth, but I don't want to introduce the truth in the wrong way. And this is one of the big problems I have with the Salafi brothers who are hardcore. They have given our dawah a bad name. You start practicing, and then we go overboard, and we're being rough and tough with people, and it's not the way of dealing with people. But at the same time, we have to have pride for the Sunnah and be ready to spread it. And we may make mistakes. But when we looked at the Prophet's da'wah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was always very cautious. Ya Aisha, if it wasn't for the fact that your people are new to al-Islam, I'd have taken the door of the Kaaba that we spoke about today. He said that the door of the Kaaba used to be on the floor. Quraysh picked it up so that only the ashraf of Quraysh can go in. The Tafriqa, the Ansariya, the Asabiyya, any and everybody could go in and come out. Quraysh said no, and he built it up there. He said if it wasn't for the fact that the people are new to Islam, when he went for Hajj, he said he conquered Mecca. He said I'd have put that door down. But had he started touching and tampering with that door, Quraysh would have said, what is he doing? What is all our lives we grew up and no one touched the door of the Kaaba like that. Muhammad is doing something sacrilegious. So it's not from hikmah to do that at that time. It's not from hikmah. Until this day, it's still there. To the point where the scholars of Islam who are all over the world right now, they don't make a big push, pull the door down. The door you would think can be pulled down now. No. It's going to be a big fitna for our ummah. And that reality, that the placing of the Kaaba at the right place after all this time goes and gives you an idea and indication about the reality of where our ummah is. And I'm not being pessimistic neither. There's khair in our ummah. There's khair in our ummah. And alhamdulillah, alladhi bi ni'matihi tatimmu salihat. We are now in the blessed day of Arafah, and that's only for our ummah. We're proud and happy to be a part of that. But we have to be careful and we have to beware. So those are the two issues. I want you to remember this statement as well. Abdullah bin Mas'ud and Ali ibn Abi Talib. You got to remember this. You got to look it up, find it, and have it easily accessible, ready for you. Both of them said basically the same thing about issues like this. They said, "Ma anta bimuhaddith qawmin haditha lam yablugh uquluhum illa kana li ba'dihim fitna." You never will tell people about some kalam that they don't understand, they can't understand it, except that when you tell them about it, it's going to be a fitna. So be careful. Be careful. The other one said, Ali hadithu nas ala qadr uqulihim. Aturidu man yukadhibu Allah wa rasulahu. Talk to people according to the level of their understanding. Do you want them to disbelieve Allah and His Messenger? You get up in the Masjid, you start talking about Allah's characteristics in a deep, deep way. And it's the truth, but the people are not ready for that. They're not ready for that. So it's not a case of you hiding the truth. It's a case of people taking into consideration the level of the community. So with that, we're done. I want to just mention today, because of the time that we took doing this other thing, one ayat of the Quran as it relates to Hajj that shows the importance of the Sunnah. And this past week we were talking in our class about As-Sunnah, how we as Muslims, we cannot allow our intellect and our mind to make qiyas as it relates to the Sunnah. So when the Sunnah comes to us, something comes to us, we have a disposition where we don't like it. We just don't like it because it's something I don't do, something not in my madhab. So I can understand if someone is shocked about something that comes to him new. A brother who was here came up to me after Salah and said, "You said this hadith that the prophets grabbed their left hands with their right hands." He said, "I've always been doing it the other way. I never knew that." I said, "You have to fact check it." He fact checked it. He found it. He didn't say, "Well, I've been doing this all my life." He didn't say that. Because I've been doing it the opposite. It's new to him. Everybody's going to hear things that are new. Salam wa rahmatullah. So when the Sunnah comes to us, we don't use our intellect, man. It's not the arena where you use your intellect and you make analogies and you make qiyas and things because you don't understand it. And there are just too many examples of that. We talked about it Tuesday. And there are too many examples. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companion came to him and told him, Ya Rasulullah, one day I was out in the desert with my animals and there was a wolf. He grabbed my animal, my sheep, and he got ready to eat my sheep up. He got ready to eat my sheep, and I was able to release my sheep from him. And the wolf went over there and sat up and said, who's going to protect your sheep? Yawm al-Qiyamah, when the things start going, going haywire, who's going to protect your sheep? He told the Prophet this story, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in front of the people. The people said, what? A sheep, a wolf that was talking? Rasulullah said, I believe in it, and Abu Bakr believes in it, and Umar believes. He didn't ask if Abu Bakr or Umar believed in it. But once he says, I believe in it, automatic, Abu Bakr and Umar are going to believe in it. And that happened a lot. The cow turned around to the man who put a lot of heavy weight on his back. And the cow turned to him and said, I haven't been created to do this. I've been created to plow the land. The Prophet said, I believe in that. But your intellect doesn't get with that. The intellect is a problem. Hurry up and perform Hajj before the Kaaba is destroyed and is dismantled brick by brick. I see a bow-legged Ethiopian man. He's going to do that. I'm from Ethiopia. I say, why? Why us? Why Ethiopians? I don't want that hadith. And there are people who do that. Why Ethiopians? This hadith is not against the Sha'b of Ethiopia. It's against this one person. Just as the religion raised up the Najashi, all Ethiopians are like the Najashi, radiyallahu anhu? No. Similarly, all Ethiopians are not like that man. And people take it intellect. So as it relates to Al-Hajj, this ayah is in Surah Al-A'raf, Al-A'raf, the heights. Ayat number 172, Al-Hajj. Allah mentioned, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. Remember, Muslim, contemplate, consider, go back and read, Muslim, listen. When Allah created Adam, and Allah took out of Adam, out of the loins of Adam, took out of the inside of Adam, all of his children before the earth, before the dunya, before Adam lived on the dunya. Allah took his children, all of them, out of Adam's loins, and he spread all of them out. Rasulullah said in an authentic hadith, he said, he spread them all out like ants in front of Adam. All of them. And they were like ants all over the place. And then Allah said to all of his children, am I not your Lord? And all of them said, Bala, you are our Lord. And we bear witness that you are our Lord. Allah says, so that you don't come Yawm al-Qiyamah and you say, I didn't know about this. So the non-Muslims of the world, who were raised up and lived as non-Muslims, they can't say, I didn't know about this. You fought against the religion. You killed those Palestinians. You did all of this with these people. I don't know. Now the question is, the person comes with intellect, and I'm going to ask you, brothers, how many, with your right hands, how many of you performed Hajj? How many performed Hajj? How many? 2 people. How many of you did not perform Hajj? You're the vast majority. I'll make that dua again. Allah help them to perform Hajj. Allah give them the money for Hajj. Allah let them get off from work and school. Allah find for them babysitters. Although you didn't perform Hajj, everybody here has been at Arafah. Everybody here has been at Arafat. Do you remember being at Arafat? Yeah, Sheikh. Abu Asma, you say you don't remember that. Do you remember being at Arafat? Everybody here has been at Arafat. Putin, Bush, Obama, everybody here has been at Arafat. And everybody here said, La ilaha illallah. And then they were put back into Adam's loins. That's an ayat in the Quran. That's explained by the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it makes the tahdeed, and it defines and gives the exact place. The blessings of Arafat itself is that's where the Allah Azza wa Jalla took the mithaq, or he took the promise from these people. And that's the meaning of those hadith, that every child is born upon the fitrah. Every child. It's important that we understand something else from this hadith that was connected to the Hajj of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is, the people bore witness against themselves when Allah said, am I not your Lord? All of the people said, you are our Lord. Bala. We bear witness. When a person bears witness on himself with his own lisan, that is a clear, strong proof. The proof doesn't get better or stronger than that. So if the guy is there with the police, the feds, they're interrogating him, and then he says, yes, I did it. And then he tries to come off of that, he's put himself in a problem because he bore witness on himself. So anytime you borrow money from someone, I'm going to borrow money from you. I'm going to write with my own hand, I have borrowed $500 from so-and-so on this day. I promise to give it back to him on this day, inshallah, without any delay. Abu Usama, sign. And then you witness it, and who gets the paper? Who gets the paper? The one who loaned me that money. So he has my signature and my writing. Something happens to me, la samahallah. He comes to my estate and says, Abu owes me $500. They're going to say, where's that proof at? He's going to say, right here. They're going to say, that's his writing, that's his signature. It's a dalil, it's a hujjah. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was performing Hajj, the sunnah the better. He said to the people after that Hajj was done, on the way back, he said to the people, so many things. He said, hey, all you people, istaskitu nas, make the people be quiet, make the people quiet. They made the people be quiet, and they listened. Over 100,000 people. He said, what are you going to say Yawm al-Qiyamah in front of Allah? What do you people have to say about me? They said, we bear witness that you relayed the message and that you took care of the amana. You took care of what your responsibility did, and you left us on the clear proof. He put his finger up. He said, oh Allah, bear witness on these people over here who said that on the right side of me. Oh Allah, bear witness on the people in the middle. Oh Allah, bear witness that with their own tongues, they said, we bear witness you took care of the amana. So this particular hadith of the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is from the many issues and incidents in our religion where the sunnah comes with those things that elaborate on ayat and elaborate on things that we don't even know the meaning of those things. And if it wasn't for the fact that companions were there with the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they were not there, then we would say to the people, the position of the companions is not that important. But we're going to say, no, their condition is important. Why? Because these ayats were revealed on them and because of them, and they were the ones who witnessed it. So now I can't come, you can't come, and you come up and I come up with new interpretations. And that's just one of the many examples. Don't let your brain get in a position where you fight against the hadith. Now if the hadith is not authentic, or the hadith is abrogated, or there's multiple ways of looking like that, and that hadith or that issue, like tomorrow, fasting on Saturday, now it's an issue of take it easy. Don't be of those people like we mentioned the other day. Ibn Abbas, when he said, may Allah be pleased with him, why don't you just order them, Abu Huraira, to make wudu from water that hit the fire? He said, oh, son of my brother, don't do that with the sunnah. I tell you something, you just submit. As I said, This is an action that people of innovation, people of arrogance, this is an action that they do. Abdullah ibn Abbas didn't mean it that way. And we would never say him doing that, he's astray, no. Similar to that, you may present your proofs to someone and he says, I don't think that that hadith is authentic. You can't describe him and say, he hates the Sunnah. You can't deal with him like that. He's against the Sunnah. He doesn't take your point of view, or he doesn't think that that particular thing is authentic. When the Salafi brothers were more together, we had a group of brothers who were very staunch. Whatever Al-Albani said, no matter what it was, they were very shadid, a shiddah with the people who didn't agree. If you say, I don't take that hadith of moving the finger, for an example, they will look at you really strange. That's not our religion. We have to learn how to deal with each other and how to deal with people and how to have these issues of different points of view, so forth and so on. There's some more things we wanted to mention, but I wanted to stop at 9:25, give you brothers bi-idhnillah an opportunity. If you have any questions, feel free to put your question forward, inshallah.
I have a question, Sheikh. So with now intellect, using your analogies, like if you want to try to get given dawah, you want to try to get somebody to appreciate certain thing. For example, like I talk to people sometime and they find it very difficult to believe in a eternal hell, right? Like that Allah will punish somebody forever and ever and ever, right? Besides pointing out that the Quran says that Allah knows that if He would give them another chance, they would go right back to what they did, and so therefore they are now in hell. I'll say things like, you know, the hellfire is like it's like being in prison, right? If someone does a crime in our society and they went to prison and they came out and they did the same crime again or worse, usually the state just throws the keys away and just give that person life without parole or whatever, 100 years, whatever, plus 200, whatever. So in a way they know that this person is not going to be reformed, right? It's beyond reform. So in that sense, I try to help them appreciate that's what Allah does to people that He sends to the hellfire.
Maybe that example can work with some people, and maybe it doesn't work with others, because a person can always argue and say, this is what mankind does, and mankind is oppressive. You know, some people don't believe in the death penalty and all of the penal system the way it is. They feel it's oppressive. So that may work with some people, they may get it, and it may not work with others. So again, what may work for this person may not work for that one. We always have to be open to be able to be flexible. Recently, there was an African-American woman who definitely had mental health issues. She went to a thrift store and stole 2 butcher knives. It's only 2-3 days ago. And then she went into a supermarket. She followed a white lady out of the store with a 3-year-old white kid. And when they went to the car, the black lady stabbed the kid to death and stabbed the mother. Killed the kid. Killed the kid. The Muslim who I saw posted that said, where is Allah that He would allow something like that? Where is Allah that He would allow something like that? Where is God that, brother, you are putting your mind in an arena for you not, well, there's benefit in that. People will take my words out of context. There's benefit with what's happening with the Palestinians. There's benefit. Allah knows what He's doing. So now I see something like that, you see something like that, you say to yourself, you know, I let my kid straddle behind me when I'm walking. Have his own person. Nah, man, you have to stay next to me all the time. Your child can still get hurt with him being next to you, but the chances are less, inshallah. Shaitan is further away from 3 than he is from 2. Further away from 2 than he is from 1. The lone sheep gets devoured by the wolf. So I say, these people crazy. I can't go to the supermarket just like that, humming and whistling. I have to look at people. You have to size people up. So there's some benefit in that. That little boy, the pen, inshallah, has been lifted. There's ikhtilaf. Are the children of the non-Muslims in Jannah or not? Different opinions. But that's one way of understanding it. That boy's going to Jannah. That boy gonna go Jannah. It's different ways. That lady is majnoona. That lady is majnoona. The pin is lifted off of her. Yeah, she's still gonna go to Jannah. But the Muslim has to have filters. And the thing he can't do is say, why would Allah do, why is Allah doing that? No, that's not your arena. As it relates to the Hajj, the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Salla fi Masjid al-Khayf, sab'una min al-anbiya, wa minhum Musa. He says 70 prophets prayed in Masjid al-Khayf. How many of you heard Masjid al-Khayf? Masjid al-Khayf is a big, big masjid in Mina. And it's far from the American tents. Far. You have to walk about 45 minutes to an hour to get there on the days of Mina. And this is where you show As-Sunnah, brother. A lot of brothers say, Salafi, Salafi, As-Sunnah. But when you make Hajj and you're tired, and the Prophet said, go to Masjid al-Khayf and pray there because of the barakah. You find brothers saying, man, I ain't going way over there. And you can't blame them because it's far. But where's that kalam? We got a lot of kalam now. The Salaf, part of their Hajj was to go to Masjid al-Khayf. But logistically, it is far from the American camp, from the European camp. 15 minutes and you are tired in Mecca. Because you arrived in Medina, you didn't get sleep yet. You go to Mina, you're not sleeping. Arafat, you're not sleeping. Muzdalifah, you're not sleeping. And then Yawm al-Nahr, now you're back in Mina. The next day, you're tired. What day are you going to go up there? Another thing, 3 days. 3 days. You stay in Mina. 3 days. 3 days. But you can leave after 2. Everybody be out of there, brother. The 3rd day is nafila. You don't have to stay. فَمَنْ تَعَجَّلَ فِي يَوْمَيْنِ لَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. Anybody wants to get out after 2 days before the sun comes, you got to get out. And you see people running into each other, running. You have to see it. You can't imagine it. And we tell the people, come on, brothers, now is the time to be Ahl Sunnah. Brothers will be like, nah, I'm Ahl Sunnah later on. Or Allah's Ghafoor Rahim. Yep. And you can't be shadeed with them. And you know the strange thing about it? When everybody leaves and it's just us there, after it was so many people, we have the whole place to ourselves. Everything is for us. And now you can rest. And now you can sleep. The only thing you're missing is getting back to your hotel room and taking a shower and sleeping in your bed. But the comfort and the sakina of, hey, we follow the sunnah. The hadith. 70 prophets prayed in Masjid al-Khayf. From them, Musa. Rasulullah said, it is as if I see Musa. He has on his ihram. And he's riding a camel from his people, Shunu'ah. And he was describing the way the bridle was in the camel's mouth. He was describing Musa making Hajj. He said, Walladhi nafsi biyadi, I swear that Isa ibn Maryam, I see him coming down. He's going to make the talbiyah. Allahumma labbaik lahumma umrah or labbaik lahumma hajj my umrah. He said, Isa's going to do this. How did he see Musa, man? How did he see Musa? How did he go to the Isra wa Mi'raj and meet people on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th level of the Jannah? How did he go to the Sidratul Muntaha? How did he do that? How did he do that? Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Ya Rasulullah, when you went to the Sidratul Muntaha, did you see your Lord? Because he said, Ra'aytu Rabbi al-Bariha, I saw my Lord last night. They said, you saw your Lord? Describe him to us. He said, Nurun. Anna arahu. It was light. How can I see Allah? People don't want to accept that. So in concluding, Ikhwani, we don't bury our intellect, we use our minds, but in the proper place. And in order to be a real Muslim, we read that Quran, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. The very first characteristic of the believer in the Quran, the very first Alif Lam Mim, this is the book, and it is guidance, no doubt. It's a guidance for who? Those people who believe in the unseen. It didn't say jihad. Those people have birr walidain. It didn't say the people who memorize the Quran. It didn't say the ulama. It said those people believe in the unseen. The unseen, Allah. The unseen, you never saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We didn't see that. The unseen, these types of issues that we hear. So if a person is going to push back verses of the Quran, ayat of the Quran and the Sunnah, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. So may Allah Ta'ala divinely protect us from that, inshallah. So the adhan is now, you said, or 40? Any more questions, Ikhwani? Tfadli ya akhi Mustafa. Yeah, when the Imam does it once, the people should do it once, because the hadith said, إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِمَامِ لِيُؤْتَمَّ بِهِ. The Imam has been made to be followed. So if he does it once, you do it once. There's a hadith of the Prophet that's authentic. He mentions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, miftah salat, the opening up the salah is a tahur. You have to have wudu. And the tahrim of the salat, where you can't talk and only say certain things, is the takbir. And the tahleel of the salat, getting out of the salat, is the taslim. Some of the ulama of the Salaf who wrote those books about Aqidah and Minhaj like we're dealing with, they used to say, and you'll find this, they were tough with the people of innovation. The real people of innovation, not our community, man. Not our community, man. Our community of Masakeen, man. We used to be like that. Everybody here was like that. Everybody, except the one that Allah blessed. I don't know everybody's story. I met people like that when I was speaking Muslims. Brothers asked me, where's Allah? I said, everywhere. Allah is everywhere. That was the level of my understanding. And they treated me in a way that wasn't correct. We were all like that. But the Salaf, as it relates to people of innovation, they were serious about that. Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri said, he was asked, if you're making the salah and you have a person of innovation on your left, and they do the salams, assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, assalamu, he said, just go assalamu alaikum. That's it. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't say it to him. Why? Because they used to boycott and avoid the real people of innovation. Don't give them salams. The first salam is wajib. So you have to say assalamu alaikum. Now, we got to be careful about these types of narrations. That narration is there. But we don't apply that to every Muslim of our community, man. There's an individual I absolutely know. He's a Qadiani. I know he's a Qadiani. I know this man curses the companion. I know that. And he's vocal. I'm not giving him salams. Wala karama. But some of our regular people, he's a Brewi. He's a Brewi. Grew up Brewi. Can't read or write. Can't. Bundy. Don't know. He's Sufi. He's something. He just doesn't know. We have to be better than that. We can't be the nar muqada, ignited fire on everybody who's not doing what we're doing. This is not dawah. This is not how we should be with the people. The rahmah of the Nabi of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the community members is displayed for us right there for those who can see. And don't get it twisted and don't misunderstand what I'm telling you. There are some people that we have to deal with them in a particular way. There's some people in the city of Orlando who are clearly leading people astray. Dealing with them, you don't deal with the awam the way you deal with them. I went one time to Nigeria, and the Iranians are spreading Shiaism in Nigeria. Africans like Morocco, Nigeria, Ghana, you're not going to find Africans cursing the companions. An African will drink khamr, an African will make zina, an African may not pray, an African may weaves in her head, an African may be disrespectful to the parent. That'll happen. But an African, West Africa, East Africa, cursing the companions, not going to have it. They're family members that deal with them. But in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, they were building places. When I went there, they took me to this university of the Iranis. And I went in there, I found out what the situation. When I went in there, the Ayatollah, whatever he was, I gave him no love. No salams, no smile, no love, none of that stuff. Because he's a problem. And while I look like skinning and grinning in the face of someone who I know, he despises me and he curses Abu Bakr, Umar, and Aisha. What I look like, skinning and grinning. I'm not going to be nasty because this is his place. I'm not going to be nasty because the brothers who brought me there, I don't want to make a problem for them. But me smiling at you, you talk about my mother like that, Miss Mamie Star, I'm going to smile at you? I'm not going to smile at you. But the regular Shiite person who doesn't know, I'm going to be nice to him. I'm going to be nice to him. Even if he cursed Abu Bakr and Umar. Even if he cursed Aisha. Why? Because he's a regular person. That's what he thinks the deen is. He grew up thinking the deen was that. So the difference between those who know and the ignorant ones. And we have to be able to make that assessment and deal with people accordingly and not deal with everybody the same way. Can't deal with everybody the same way. Okay, Ikhwani, we're going to stop here, inshallah. نكتفي بهذا القدر سائلين الله عز وجل يوفقنا وإياكم لكل خير. The best dua for the day of Arafat, and the best thing that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of the prophets before him, and we should say this a lot today and all day today, make a lot of dua. A lot has happened and happens on the day of Arafat. Anybody know that dua, that dhikr? Anybody know? تفضل يا أخي. له الملك is in there? لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Not يحيي ويميت. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. And you keep saying that as much as you possibly can say it, as well as istighfar, the tahleel, the tahmeed, the tasbih, and all of those things. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. And this is our connection with all the prophets and the messages as well, and the dawah that they were upon. All right, brothers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.